All right, Mr. Chair, we are live on the YouTube live stream, so whenever you'd like to start.
Thank you, Adam. Good morning, everyone. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. Before I continue, I'd like to introduce our panel. From my far right, Mr. Bill Dalton, Ms. Laura Alderson, Ms. Natalia Popovic, and Mr. Rick Ross. My name is Don Taylor, and I'm panel chair. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provisions of the zoning that applies to property, permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. We acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid, in-person, and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you are called on to speak. Those participating by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelist when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Body will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies, as those terms are defined in the Planning Act, are permitted to appeal decisions of the Committee of Adjustment. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept materials at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then, individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room and then those participating through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished their presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Okay, before hearing the first item, I will need a motion to confirm the minutes of the last meeting. Mr. Dalton, is there a seconder? Perhaps I was the only one there.
It doesn't matter. They don't have to have been present for the meeting.
Ms. Alderson, thank you very much. All in favor? That is carried. And Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, are there any decisions that we need to make that aren't documented on my notes here?
Yes, Mr. Chair, sorry, I forgot to mention this earlier. We're asking that all panels pass the following motion at every hearing. I'll read it out to you. That the Etobicoke York panel of the Committee of Adjustment does not excuse any absences from the December 7th, 2023 Committee of Adjustment meeting. So if we can have a motion on that.
Okay.
Motion.
Ms. Popovic, thank you. And Ms. Alderson, thank you. All in favor? That is carried.
Thank you, members.
Okay. Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer, have you received any requests for deferral?
We have one for the morning time slot, item number 10, 47 Delamere Avenue.
Okay, then let's skip the line and go to that one. See if we can get it dispensed with. Item 10. Item 10 is 47 Delamere Avenue. Purpose of the application is to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. Do we have, the agent for this application is Graham Barrett. Graham, are you online?
Mr. Chair, Graham is present. Before we get to him, I want to bring to your attention that the area residents on the second page are not present on the call at this time.
Oh, okay. Okay, then we'll deal with this in order then.
Well, I'll get Graham to speak to his deferral request right now.
Okay.
Good morning, committee members, Mr. Chair.
Hi, Graham.
Hi, Graham Barrett, SGL Planning and Design, 1547 Bloor Street West. I'm requesting deferral of this item as a variance was missed on the public notice.
Okay. Now, we do have two area residents that wanted to speak to this, and ideally we would get their comments and yes or no on your request. So,
Mr. Chair, I do have a note they might be here in the crowd, so maybe we ask to see if they're in the crowd.
okay. Yes, is there anyone in the audience today that wishes to speak to 47 Delamere? Yes, ma'am. Could you please approach the podium? And I think there's a button there that you have to press. And if you can tell us who you are and where you live.
My name is Alexander. Good morning, all. Good morning.
Good.
Good morning. My name is Alexander.
Sorry to interrupt through you, Mr. Chair. I cannot hear the speaker.
Yeah, we're having a problem here. We can confirm. All right, Mr. Chair, one moment. We'll try and figure out this tech issue.
What?
Did the light go on? You knocked off the instrument. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can use one of these guys. What if you just go to one of those?
Yeah.
It works.
Test.
Hello.
Oh, lovely. Okay, Ms. Kovacs.
All right, good morning all, again.
So this is a request for a deferral, as you heard.
I don't understand what that
If you
means.
can
Okay,
just give us, if you can just give us your name and address, since that wasn't on,
Kovacs, 71 Delamere.
thank you.
It means that in this case, the applicant's agent, Mr. Barrett, told us that he needs to change the variances. And that necessitates a deferral of this hearing to a later date because the information he's provided to the public for this hearing is now inaccurate. So really, the only question, we're not here to discuss the merits of this application because we're not going to hear it. We just want you to say, are you okay with a deferral to another date? And by the way, you'll get notification before this is heard again. Or are you opposed to deferral?
Well, I would be opposed because I was on the phone yesterday at 3:30 and I wasn't told about this, and we've shown up this morning. So whenever it was deferred between yesterday evening and 9:30 this morning. So that's basically a half an hour last night and a half an hour this morning that they had time to defer, which I find quite odd. But to move on and further to this, I was not given notice, nor was my neighbor and our neighbors down the street. I have understood about the 60-meter notification that is necessary, so I presume the bare minimum was taken. Also, the application is posted in the front window, which is about 1.5 feet wide, the application, and 2 feet tall. You can hardly see it from the street, and surrounding it are balloons. So it really melts into the facade of the house, and you cannot notice, even on foot, the application. So these things are a little bit starting to pile up. I know we're not dealing with the, I don't also just want to say, I don't see that it's a minor variance.
Okay, now you're getting into the merits of the application.
Right, but I'm just,
That'll be when it comes back here.
okay.
Not today. Well, you know, I guess staff has heard your comments about the adequacy of the signage and your ability to read it. That's for them to consider, you know, potential alterations to make it more visible. This committee can't commit to that, but staff is aware.
So, Mr. Chair, as part of your motion for the deferral, you can also instruct the applicant to post the sign in a visible location, which they should be doing as
Yeah,
part
okay.
of normal procedures.
Okay, we'll include that in the motion then.
Please.
Okay, so,
And the applicant should then, when they do get rescheduled, submit the photo from the street or the sidewalk so we can see that it is visible, because that's not clear in the photo that was submitted with this application. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Kovacs, you know, truthfully, because the notice in this case is inadequate, not only perhaps in terms of the signage, but just because the agent wants more variances or different variances than he's requested. This is what we call an automatic deferral anyway. So we can't proceed because we don't have the actual variances that they want. So it is going to be deferred. It's an automatic deferral. But we just wanted to afford an opportunity to you because you've come out here.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
So it will be noted that we did come out here and that I was on the phone last night and I wasn't told about this. And that I suppose that the applicant is, I don't know. I'm not sure about the word to use.
So something odd has happened then because we were aware of the deferral request days ago.
And
I don't know what happened.
Well, I just called in yesterday because we only saw, and I'm not the only neighbor, the application in the front window started to see it on the weekend when I spoke out about it. So other people in the hood didn't notice it either.
I'm wondering if you are outside the 150-meter circulation
it's
zone.
I had mentioned
200
that.
feet or 60
Or
meters.
60.
So yes, we've checked. You are outside of the notification area, but because you're speaking here today, you will be added to the list and you will be notified by mail for the next hearing, and the sign will have to be posted again.
Thank you kindly. I won't take
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kovacs.
Good day.
Okay, then let's go into committee. I think we're in a position now to make a decision on this deferral request. I would invite a motion that includes the notification aspects that our Deputy Secretary Treasurer mentioned.
I will move, Mr.
Ms.
Chair,
Popovic?
on the basis of the conditions mentioned by the Deputy Secretary.
Okay. Is that sufficient, Madam Deputy Secretary Treasurer?
Sorry, I couldn't
She
hear.
just endorsed your comments, additional comments deferred, and then about the notification, the adequacy, the posting of the sign.
In a visible location with appropriate photo submitted, yes.
Okay. So I guess my question is, can you capture that in this motion? Because the reference was made to what you said.
So the motion can be to defer to properly identify the variances that were missed by the applicant and to, based on the revisions, and to also post the sign as required in a visible location.
Okay.
And I so move.
Okay. Is there a seconder for Ms. Popovic?
I will second that motion.
Oh, okay, Mr. Ross, thank you very much.
Gotta look both ways.
All in favor? Okay, the application has been deferred, Mr. Barrett, and I presume we'll see you in the new year at some point.
Mr. Chair, can we test the podium mic now again to make sure it works?
Sorry?
I'm going to test the podium mic to see if it works. So just hold on for a second. It does work.
Oh, good. No one else in the chambers today who wishes to speak to that item, even though the motion's already been made? Okay, thank you. Okay, now I guess we can flip back to the start of the agenda with item number 1. 1120 the Queensway. Oh, this is nonsense.
Good morning, Councillor. Sorry, good morning, Councillors. Good morning, Mr.
Sorry,
Chair.
the purpose of the application is to permit a parking deficiency to accommodate a new restaurant. There is one variance, and there are no comments from agencies on the file except Transportation Services, which is okay with the application. So, Mr. Ty Nguyen.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, I don't look up very often.
Pardon?
I don't look up very often.
Oh, sorry.
So thanks for coming.
Thank you very much for having us here today.
I think this is pretty straightforward, but if there's anything that you wish to enunciate for our benefit, please go ahead.
Not off the top of my head, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so you're open to any questions that panel may have?
Yes.
Panel, any questions of Mr. Nguyen? There being none,
Sorry, I did have one question. I'm assuming the parking is just in the strip mall itself, not specific to your location?
Sorry, Mr. Councillor, I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, these aren't counselors, they're committee members,
My
just to clarify.
apologies. Can you please repeat your question?
Well, the pictures I looked at, it's kind of in a strip mall, the
That-
location. So
that's
there's no dedicated parking to your location, it's just parking anywhere in the strip mall?
So the strip mall has dedicated parking to the front of our store, but it also has extra parking in the whole parking lot, if that answers your question.
Okay, yes, thank you.
okay, then I think we're ready to go into committee. We'll invite a motion to make a decision.
I will bring that motion to.
Ms. Popovic,
Motion to approve.
is there a seconder? Mr. Dalton, thank you very much. All in favor? That carries unanimously. Thanks for coming. Good luck
Thank you
with
for
your-
having me.
Good luck with your restaurant.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is item 2, 2150 and 2194 Lakeshore Boulevard West and 23 Park Lawn Road. The purpose of this application is to modify the approved phasing line from Phase 3 into Phase 1 to accommodate the proposed development. We have community planning conditions, a Metrolinx advisory, and we have a registered interested party and 3 registered area residents. Is there anyone in the room today to speak to this, or are you the agent, Mr. Kohler? Okay. Yeah, Mr. Kohler. I think in light of the interested parties to this application, I believe a presentation would be in order. So please proceed. Your name and company address?
Yes, I do have a presentation that was submitted as well. It would be great to have on the
Yes.
screen if that's possible. My name's Josh Kohler. My company's located at 197 Spadina Avenue. I'm a senior planner at Urban Strategies representing the owners of 2150 Lakeshore. I'd like to thank the committee for the opportunity to speak to you today about this variance. Is it possible to put the presentation up on the screen? Okay.
Yes, we will do that.
Is there a way for me to advance the slides, or will I just, okay, it's all good. Perfect, thank you. Yes, so thank you, good morning. This is a variance to adjust the phasing of an approved project. So I thought I would start out by just sharing a little bit of background on the master plan. It's a 27-acre site. It used to be the home of the Christie Cookie Factory. Been through a multi-year collaborative planning process to get to where we are today. So if I can go to the next slide. The project involves a comprehensive master plan of the site. There's 29 new buildings, 15 of them are towers. There's a range of new gross floor area, including 7,600 units, 10% of which will be affordable, as well as office and retail uses. The project is also delivering a wide range of really important community benefits for this area, including a community recreation center, a library, 2 daycares, community agency space, and schools for the TDSB and TCDSB elementaries, as well as 2 new parks, a GO station, and a TTC streetcar loop to bring the TTC up to the GO station. If I can go to the next slide. Just want to give a bit of context on what was really a highly collaborative and comprehensive planning process. I've been involved from the beginning when the site was, the owners inherited an appeal from the previous owners to bring the site from employment into regeneration areas. That kicked off a secondary plan process, worked closely with the city. We moved private applications forward in lockstep with the secondary plan so that the two would ultimately reach alignment on what I think is a really highly compelling vision for the site. That was approved by council via the secondary plan and the city-led zoning bylaw, implementing the secondary plan and approving that master plan that I showed on the previous slide. I've now been working with a team on a site plan application for the first phase of development, as well as draft plan of subdivision. And it was through that more technical work that we identified a need to adjust the phasing of the project. It's a timing of 1 block that's in question. We brought that to staff as soon as we were aware, discussed the most appropriate way to deal with that, and they recommended minor variance. So that's why we're here. Let's talk about the variance before I run out of time. Sorry, it's a big project. If I can go to the next slide. Yeah. So this is the approved zoning map on the left, and I've put some color on this so that you can see. The block in question is Block 3A. It was originally intended to be constructed in Phase 3. To allow for the orderly construction phasing, feasible construction phasing, we need to build it in Phase 1. If I can go to the next slide. This is a complicated spot in the site. Hopefully you can see Street A, which runs along the back of the property. It goes from kind of the Gardner off and on-ramp to Lakeshore. Provides really important traffic relief for Park Lawn and Lakeshore. There's a huge interconnected underground area for all the parking and loading. And as per the secondary plan, the primary point of access into the site is through Block 3A there. So Street A, where all the cars are coming into the property, it dips underneath the rail line and goes into the P1 level of that 3rd block, or Block 3A. And so when that gets constructed in Phase 3, we're going to have to be digging 4 levels below ground, something that wasn't caught when we were contemplating the initial phasing, but we wouldn't be able to have that be the primary point of access into the site. And so that block, it's kind of the linchpin that all of the transportation flows into the project through. So a really important piece of infrastructure. And as you can see, it's kind of related to the GO station as well. So it's an important piece that we've realized needs to come forward in Phase 1. So if I can go to the next slide. In my opinion, this does meet the 4 tests of a variance. As per the secondary plan, which kind of outlines this vision and has been approved by council, that is supposed to be the primary point of access into the site. The secondary plan also acknowledges that some phasing adjustments may be required, so long as the infrastructure is in place, it anticipates and is supportive of that. And I'd argue that we actually need this variance to have the infrastructure in place to support orderly construction phasing. There's no actual change to the block, so I think this is in keeping with the zoning. It's really about the timing of delivering what's already been approved. No change in height, gross floor area, parking, or anything. It's just a matter of timing. And I think for those same reasons, I'd say it supports appropriate development of the land and is minor given the nature of it already being approved. I'll stop there and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kohler. Panel, any questions of Mr. Kohler? Ms. Alderson?
So Cirque du Soleil had a temporary lease on that land, and I thought it was for 4 years, and I'm just wondering if that has anything to do with the change in the phasing.
It doesn't have any. It doesn't have any relation to that. This is really just about, once we started on site plan. I'm not involved with Cirque. They have a lease with the owners, and they've done their own kind of approvals, and they're occupying a portion of.
Oh, you're back.
I'm back. Okay, good.
You're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if it had any
Yeah.
impact on the phasing, that's all. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Kohler. We do have a number of registered speakers. Before I turn to that list, is there anyone in the room today that wishes to speak to this item? Okay. I'm going to start with Mr. Alberto De Leon. Are you online, sir?
Mr. Chair, they were present on the call, but they have since dropped off.
Okay.
The only area resident that isn't present on the call at this time is Khalid Zion. They're a phone call user, and I can go and unmute them now. So that's the
Okay,
third.
yes, do that.
Perfect. Khalid.
Mr. Ogayesh?
Mr. Chair, I wonder if he's muted us on his end or has put us on hold or something. I bet you're on hold. With the Still on hold, Mr. Chair. That's the only member of the public that is present on the call at this time, Mr. Chair. They've called using their phone. So that's the problem we're kind of going to see here now. Is that
Do you know how to fix this so that when I open something up?
Mr. Chair, you would close your mic there.
Do they have another contact number you can try them at?
We only have the one, Mr. Chair.
I think it's getting close to time to stop the non-in-person stuff.
While we're waiting to make contact with this area resident, I do want to remind members of the public that are in the council chambers, please consider putting your phone on silent at the very least, if not turning it fully off. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, how would you like to proceed? It appears that they've put us on hold. We've sent an email.
Just stick around for a while. We'll try and make a connection here. I think this gentleman has registered to speak to your application, so with respect to him.
Your microphone's off.
Mr. Chair, your microphone, please.
Sorry, were you able to hear me anyway? Good.
I was, yes, I'm able to stay.
Okay, we will endeavor to get him online, and I guess we'll move to the next application and
Understood.
see where we're at in 15 minutes or so.
So we can temporarily stand it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll move to item 3. 900 the East, no, that's Addison Milne Pierce's address. 20 Elder Avenue. Mr. Milne Price, thanks for coming. This is pretty straightforward. We have urban forestry condition 1, we have a Metro Links advisory and a support petition. Again, don't believe we need a long presentation, but if you can summarize some highlights that might help us in our discernment on this, that'd be good.
Absolutely, Mr. Chair. Would you like me to restate my name and address?
Sure.
For the record?
Yes,
Addison
thank
Milne
you.
Price, planner at Design Plan Services, located at 900 the East Mall, Suite 300. This application is to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. As noted, there are a petition of support from the surrounding neighbors for this application. Furthermore, no city department or external agency has made any objection or had any concerns with this proposed dwelling. In terms of the proposed variance, variance 1 for FSI is quite similar to some of the other FSIs that have been approved in the neighborhood, including 21 Elder Ave at 0.66 FSI, 23 Elder Ave approved at 0.69 FSI, and 39 Elder Ave approved at 0.98 FSI. In terms of variance 2, which pertains to only the height of the exterior main walls, I would point out that in terms of overall height, the proposed dwelling is compliant with this zoning bylaw provision. In fact, the proposed height is 9.4 meters, whereas the maximum height is 9.5. As such, the building could in fact be taller while not requiring any variance. I could also point out that as per the elevation drawings, there is a grade difference between the front and rear of the property. Hence, the 7.47 meter height is only applicable for the very front of the dwelling, and it is the apparent height is much smaller towards the rear of the dwelling. Lastly, just in terms of the soft landscaping variance, I'll point out that this represents a difference of approximately 2 square meters from what is permitted as of right. This proposed dwelling fits within all required setbacks, complies with the 17-meter building length requirement, as well as the maximum driveway width of 6 meters. And as such, this development represents what is essentially an as-of-right building envelope. And in the same sense as the FSI, this amount of soft landscaping is consistent with approvals for new houses within this area, as evidenced by 51 Elder, which was approved with a soft landscaping percentage of 34.98, 56 26th Street, which was approved with a soft landscaping percentage of 40%, as well as 17 Evergreen Ave approved with a soft landscaping percentage of 48%. That concludes my presentation, but if there's any specific questions, I'm happy to take any.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Milne Price. Panel, any questions for Mr. Milne Price? Yes, Ms. Popovic.
Good morning. I'd like to just confirm the arborist report and recommendation that no trees will be removed as a result of this construction.
That is correct. However, there are conditions recommended by urban forestry.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, is there anyone in the room here to speak about 20 Elder Avenue? No one? Okay, then I think we can move into committee for a decision, or discussion if required.
If no one has any other questions, I'm prepared to make a motion. This is a pretty straightforward application, and subject to urban forestry, number 1, condition number 1, I move for approval.
Is there a seconder?
A second.
Ms. Popovic, thank you. All in favor? That's approved unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Milne-Price. Adam, any luck with Mr. Elgayesh?
Nothing yet, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Let's continue along, maybe.
Alrighty then, we will just keep going. Oh, Addison Mill Pierce again on application item number 4. Just give me a second here. Okay, we have a revised application here. The purpose of the application is to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage at 919 Islington Avenue. We have 6 variances, and we have urban forestry condition number 3 has been requested, and community planning is recommending refusal based on concerns they have about FSI, building height, front exterior main wall height, area of platform at the front of the building, and landscaping. So, Mr. Milne-Price, I think given the planning report, I think we certainly need to hear from you.
Absolutely, Mr. Chair. I'll point out that the planning staff did make objections to the first version of the application, and we have revised the proposal as per the plans and variances submitted on December 1st to be in line with the recommendations outlined in the staff report, and I can go through those individually. I'd like to point out, in terms of the balconies, the changes that were made are somewhat complex because variance 4 speaks to 3 different balconies. The platform that is 6.18 square meters has remained unchanged in size, but this refers to the rear deck that is captured as a platform due to the underground portion of the house below it. The 3rd-story balcony has been reduced to be compliant with the area requirement, and what was previously a rooftop terrace was reduced from 15.98 square meters to 4.74 square meters, just to make that clear because there's a few different moving pieces there. In terms of variance 1, we've reduced the FSI from 0.96 to 0.73. The planning staff report initially noted that the proposed FSI was not similar to any of the FSIs approved in the recent context, and as such, we have lowered the FSI to 0.73 upon reviewing some of the decisions that are similar to or higher than that FSI in the immediate and broader neighborhood, which include 935 Islington Ave, which was approved at an FSI of 0.77, 68 Athol Avenue, approved at an FSI of 0.69, and at 20 Ladybank Road, approved at an FSI of 0.78. Further, based on a review of nearly 50 FSI approvals in the neighborhood, I've determined that the median gross floor area of new developments is 265.65 square meters, a number slightly above the GFA of the proposed building. And as such, it's my view that planning's concerns have been addressed, and the proposed massing will now be in keeping with the existing physical character of the neighborhood. Now, in terms of variance 2 and variance 3, I'll speak to these together. The maximum height proposed is now 10.63 meters, whereas 9.5 meters is permitted, and the maximum height of the exterior main walls is 9.63 meters, where 7 meters is permitted. If committee staff could kindly pull up the north elevation labeled as drawing A09 from the revised drawing package. Now, the planning staff report recommended reducing this variance, and we have done so in 2 ways. Well, we have reduced the overall height requested in the variance by lowering the entire height of the building We've also further scaled back the portion of the massing that protrudes above that 9.5 height limit. As shown on the elevation, there is only a small portion of the building that exceeds this limit, as indicated by the dashed line on the 9.5 meter height. I'd also like to point out that this development is located on Islington Avenue, which is considered a major street as per the zoning bylaw overlay map. Additional intensification is generally contemplated by the official plan on major streets. And furthermore, this property is located approximately 100 meters from the intersection of Islington Ave and the Queensway, which features multiple new large apartment complexes. Now, with respect to variance 4, I'd like to point out that, again, of the two remaining platforms that are subject to the area requirement, one of these platforms is that rear deck that extends from the main floor level. Due to the ground floor level of the basement on the floor below, this platform is considered to be extending from the second floor level and is therefore regulated by this provision. Were it not for the underground levels elevation, this platform and its size would be permitted as of right. The planning staff report only had specific concern with the rooftop platform that was originally sized at approximately 16 meters, and this size has been significantly reduced and now reflects the character of platform sizes in the neighborhood. As planning staff pointed out, the original size of the platform compounded the impact of the overall height variance, and I find that the reduced height and the reduced platform significantly mitigate any impact in terms of overlook or massing that would be felt from this development. Now, to quickly speak on variance 5, which refers to the two platforms attached at the rear. The planning staff report did not object to this specific variance. However, the reason this variance is triggered is due to that aforementioned rear deck, along with that third-story balcony that is now a compliant size. As I discussed, the main level platform is also essentially triggered by that level of the basement on the floor below, which causes it to be considered a second-story platform and hence triggers the two platforms above the second story at the rear. Now, in terms of the last variance, variance 6, as per the recommendations of the report, we have eliminated one of the two driveways and replaced that area with soft landscaping. I'd also like to point out that the overall massing of this dwelling provides more soft landscaping than contemplated in the zoning bylaw. Particularly, it should be noted that the proposed building length of this dwelling is only 13.93 meters, which is approximately 3 meters less than the 17-meter requirement of building length in the bylaw. This additional space is used for soft landscaping in the rear yard, which compensates for the 5% reduction of soft landscaping in the front yard. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to take any further questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Milne-Price. Yeah, I'll have a question, and then I'll turn it over to the members. Did you have a chance to converse at all with community planning about their report?
I did have a chance. They were accepting of all of our changes with the exception of the height. They were looking for a height of 10 meters, and I feel that our height of 10.63 meters is fair given that it is only a small portion of the dwelling that protrudes above that 9.5. Aside from that overall height requirement, we have seen eye to eye with planning staff.
Okay, thank you. Members, any questions of Mr. Milne-Price?
I just wanted to look at the dates. The revisions were made after this planning report from staff.
Through Mr. Chair, that is correct.
So do we have anything from planning saying they are satisfied now with the revisions you've made?
We do not have anything specifically from planning confirming that. However, their conversations required us to bring down the FSI to something that was consistent within the neighborhood. And we have brought down the FSI to the point where it is no longer the largest FSI in the neighborhood, nor is it the largest GFA proposed in the neighborhood.
So tell me about the one, about the height again.
So planning staff's recommendation was to limit the height to 10 meters. We have only reduced the height to 10.63 meters. However, if you look at the elevations, I think you'll find that the total amount of massing that actually protrudes above that 9.5 limit is quite small. So in terms of any impact felt from either shadowing, privacy, or overall massing, the impact is quite minor from that specific variance.
Can you put up on the screen where your 10.8 is?
Yes, so you can see the very top line on that drawing there is the maximum height, and the dashed line below it is that 9.5.
Okay, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions? No? Okay. Is there anyone in the room that is here to speak to 919 Islington Avenue? No? And we don't have any registered speakers, so I think we're ready to go into committee for some discussion if desired, or a decision. Any comments before we consider a decision, or we just move into I'll invite you to make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Dalton, thank you.
I think with the reductions that have been made and the changes, and I just want to note this, they were done by December 1st and planning comments were November 22nd. I think the revisions meet the 4 tests, and I make a motion for approval.
And would you be agreeable to including urban forestry condition 3?
Condition, yes, number 3.
Okay. Is there a seconder for Mr. Dalton's motion? Mr. Ross, thank you. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Milne-Pierce. No news on our...
Mr. Chair, people keep coming and going
Oh, he's, okay.
with attendees. We can try, let me take this moment to try and just get confirmation with Khalid first. I see that they've logged in on WebEx but did not authorize the use of their microphone. So I'm curious to know to see if the phone call, because their landline is still connected to the call, to the event as well. So if I can give you this chance here, I'll try and see what we can do.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Kohler,
yeah,
can
so
we
cool.
beg your indulgence for another, we'll do another item and then we'll just check in. And
That'd be great, Mr.
I'm
Chair.
starting toward being inclined to
I understand.
proceeding.
In the meantime, I will let the area residents know, in particular, Mr. Khalid, if I see that you've logged in on WebEx, but you have not authorized the use of your microphone, you're also still a call-in user. Either, take us off hold on your phone, or log out of WebEx and log back in and authorize the use of your microphone. Thank you. All right, Mr. Chair, we'll go to item number 5, though, in the meantime. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, item number 5 is 41 St. George's Road. Purpose of the application is to construct a new rear yard deck. We have a RNFP Condition 1, a Metrolinx advisory, and 2 support letters from each of the immediate neighbors, and that's all.
There's also a planning report with recommended conditions.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yes, okay, I'm sorry, I missed that. Yes, a requested condition from community planning. The proposed development shall be constructed as illustrated in the architectural plan submitted on October 20th, 23, and held on file by the Committee of Adjustment as it relates to building length. We have really nothing else on file. Pretty straightforward application. Am I looking at Mr. Is it Rietz?
Ritz.
Ritz?
Craig Ritz at CAR Design Studio, 53 Chauncey Avenue.
Okay, thank you. Pretty straightforward. I think it's pretty easy to understand what's going on here. Would you be okay with just entertaining any questions if there are any from the panel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We are aware of the reports that you mentioned. We have no issue whatsoever being tied to the plans as suggested by community planning, and we actually have had some previous dialogue with our RNFP with respect to the proposal as well. So.
Okay, good. Good to know. Panel, any questions? Okay, then I think we're in a position to move into committee for a decision.
I'm happy to make a motion for approval. I believe this meets the 4 tests under the Planning Act, and move for approval subject to urban forestry condition number 1, as well as community planning's condition that it be tied to the architectural plan submitted on October 20th, 2023, as it pertains to building length.
Is there a
Just to
seconder for Ms.
clarify,
Allerson's motion?
It's a ravine condition 1, not urban forestry.
Okay. RNFP condition number 1?
Number 1, yep.
Okay.
Your seconder for Ms. Allerson's motion? Ms. Popovic, thank you. All in favor? That's approved unanimously. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Okay, I would like to wrap item 3, or 2,
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, let's do that. I'd like to, unless we're all lined up and ready to go with people, I want to move forward on this.
Sounds great, Mr. Chair. Yeah, after making my announcement to log out and log back in, the area resident did not.
Okay.
I will one more time.
Can you somehow document your extraordinary attempts here for the record?
We can do that.
I now feel we're not disenfranchising anyone.
Okay, and I just double checked, they're still on hold on the phone, so, and we have made them aware.
Okay.
Also via email too, I know support staff has reached out to them, so.
Okay, so Mr. Kohler, we're going to presumably, hopefully let you go in a minute or two here. We are at the point where we can go into committee.
Okay. I did want to note, we are aware of the conditions that staff have put forward. They're very interested in seeing the Section
Great.
7 agreement signed in.
Good to know.
We are supportive of that as well.
And I'll just, it's perhaps unnecessary, but I was going to remind the speakers that the matter at hand here really has nothing to do with planning, because it's already been approved. It's just a phasing matter. But anyway, let's proceed. We're in committee. I'm inviting a motion. Mr. Dalton.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion for approval subject to the 2 conditions in the November 29th planning comments.
Okay. Is there a seconder for Mr. Dalton's? Ms. Alderson? Okay, all in favor? That's approved unanimously. Thank you very much for your patience and understanding.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Much appreciated.
Now, it has been suggested that it might be a good time to take a short break. Ms. Alderson, do you have a number of minutes that you would like to? 10-minute break. We could reconvene then at...
Mr. Chair, if we do that, then maybe we just reconvene at 10:50.
Sure.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks. We'll see you soon.
Adam? Something.
don't have the PDF. All right, Mr. Chair, I think we'll get looking to start here.
Okay, thank you, Adam. We're now going to look at item number 6, 74 Thorncrest Road.
Mr. Chair, your camera, please.
Oh.
Thank you. In the meantime, I can bring to your attention, the agent would like to be on video for this. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is make them a panelist now. Ravi, you're now a panelist, so you all be able to control the use of your microphone, or I apologize, the use of your video by clicking the Start Video button now, and you should come up on screen. I'll also take this opportunity to confirm you are unmuted, and I see you, so I'll drag you onto the stage, and we should be ready to go.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Chair.
Item 6, 74 Thorncrest Road. Purpose is to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. There are 6 variances. We have on file, we have a letter of concern regarding water easements and whether or not they exist on the property. And we have a sort of a response letter on that topic from a surveyor confirming that there are no easements. We have urban forestry condition 4, which is deferral, and alternately there are conditions 1 and 2 regarding city trees and private trees. That's about all we have on file. Mr. Patel, are you available to speak to us?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair and the committee. I can explain a little bit about urban.
Yeah, if you could, well, you can say whatever you want, but we certainly want to know about the urban forestry situation and
Sure.
what your thinking is and whatnot. So yeah, please proceed.
Yes. Urban forestry comments came a little bit last week, so I'm not sure if there's an updated information to you at this point. We had some correspondence with urban forestry and corporate city staff on it. Both trees raised a concern by urban forestry. We are going to preserve it. We're not proposing to remove those trees any longer.
Okay. If we proceed toward approval on this, however, we would still impose the conditions that they've requested, because that's the last record that we have on file from them. So you would still have to go through them and get the clearances you require, notwithstanding your update. Okay,
yes, sir. I
understand that.
And I appreciate you mentioned that, as I would like to mention that any decision from a committee, we still have to go through urban forestry as an independent agency and have to resolve any issue with urban forestry later on. So we understand that.
You are correct, and thank you.
Thank you.
Panel, any questions for Mr. Patel? Okay, there being none, we'll go into committee now for.
Is there anyone present in the room for 74
sorry.
Thorncrest? No.
Sorry about that, thank you. So, committee for a decision? Ms. Popovic.
Subject to the conditions of the Forestry Department, I would move to approve.
Seconder for Ms. Popovic's motion. Mr. Ross, thank you. All in favor? That is unanimously approved. Mr. Patel, thank you very much. Moving on to item 7, 33 Foxcoat Crescent. Agent is Mr. George Shama. We have a revised notice. Purpose of the application is to construct an attached garage on the west side of the existing dwelling and a new covered front porch. There are 4 variances. We have, well, initially we had a condition request by Urban Forestry, but it was, that was altered by email on October 7th, actually. They don't, Urban Forestry has no issues. We have a Metrolinx advisory, and we have a planning condition clarification, which was provided to us as additional information recently. Mr. Sharma, are you with us?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair. George Shama of Great Room Inc., representing the owner here for this application at 33 Foxcote Crescent.
Okay, and your address, please?
42 Robinson Road, and that's in Nobleton, Ontario.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I think we'd be interested in hearing a brief presentation from you.
Sure. Through you, Mr. Chair, this application deals with a addition of an attached garage to an existing dwelling and an addition of a front porch to the front facade of the existing dwelling as well. Initially, we had asked for side yard setback of 0.6 meters to the westerly side lot line. And in doing so, triggered a eaves projection that would be located a minimum of 0.04 meters from the west side lot line. Through dealing with planning staff, we have conceded and increased that side yard setback to 0.8 meters and allowed for a minimum of 0.3 meters to the westerly side yard for the eaves. In doing so, the reduction of the garage width has also improved the driveway width to a maximum of 3.65 meters. Also, discussing the application with planning, we revised the rear yard soft landscaping area to a minimum of 48% to the 97.6 square meters. All these revisions were done with discussions with planning staff in order to gain their support for this application. And I believe we have done that, and they are satisfied with the proposal. If there's any questions from the committee, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll just ask you, are you aware of an okay with the community planning condition? And are you aware of their clarification memo on their condition? It says the development shall be constructed as illustrated on the site plan elevation and elevation drawings as it relates to the west side yard setback for the plans submitted, stamped November 13th, which show a revised 0.8 meter west side yard setback. Are you aware of that and okay with that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, that's correct. Those are the revisions that city planning staff are referring to that we made changes to. So that is correct. That is the most current drawing that would be approved, hopefully, today.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Panel, any questions for Mr. Sharma? Sharma? No? Anyone in the room here to speak to 33 Foxcote Crescent? No?
Sorry, let me just ask the revision that you made to the rear yard soft landscaping. Is that the 41%?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So originally we had asked for 41% of rear yard soft landscape area, and we have improved it to 48%, so 97.6 square meters.
Because I'm looking at the revision page and it still shows the 41 on there.
Was 41, now 48.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. My understanding is the drawings that we had submitted, which is the condition here as of November 22nd, 2023, that I'm looking at does reflect the minimum rear yard soft landscape area of 48%. We have it bubbled and highlighted here on the plans that I have.
Okay, thank you. You okay, Mr. Ross?
Yes, fine, thank you.
Okay, then let's move to committee for discussion if required or a decision. Mr. Dalton?
Sure. I'd like to move a motion. I think the application meets the 4 tests. So move for approval, subject to the November 24th, 2023 planning memo, which was revised yesterday, I believe, to include condition number 1. Yeah. Which changed the date of the drawings from November 22 to November 13th.
Thank you.
And urban forestry number 2.
Urban forestry number 2. Okay, thank you. Is there a seconder for Mr. Dalton's motion? Ms. Alderson, thank you. All in favor? That is unanimously approved, Mr. Shama. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 8, 10 Netherly Drive. Purpose of the application is to legalize and to maintain the as-built detached dwelling with an attached garage. There are 4 variances. And we don't have any comments from commenting agencies on this one. Mr. Rajgor, are you with us?
I'm here.
You're here?
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Chair. This is Abhishek Rajgor. I'm here.
Okay, I think your proposal looks pretty straightforward and easy to understand. Yeah, I don't really think we need a presentation from you unless there's anything you want to say. Other than that, we could move to questions, if any, from the panel. What would be your preference?
No, I agree.
Say anything or answer questions.
Yeah, just answer the questions.
Just answer the questions. Okay, questions for Mr. Rajgor, panel, anyone? Ms. Alderson.
I have a comment. Since I moved the motion in the previous decision, I would have liked to have seen a photo of the finished product. That's just my comment, that's all. Because Google Maps is outdated, and it's dated July 2018, so.
Wow.
It doesn't give me an indication of what the finished product was. Just a comment.
Yeah.
It would have been helpful to have a photo.
Thank you, Ms. Alderson. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Is anyone in the room here to speak to 10 Netherly Drive? No? All right. I think then we can go into committee for discussion if desired or a decision.
Mr.
Ms.
Chair.
Popovic, yes?
Mr. Chair, I agree that it is a relatively straightforward matter. I believe it meets the 4 tests. I would move to approve.
Seconder for Ms. Popovic. Mr. Dalton, thank you very much. All in favor? That is unanimously approved. Mr. Rajgor, thank you very much. Moving on to item 9, 50 Beaumont Heights Drive. Purpose of the application is to legalize and maintain the existing attached garage. There is 1 variance. We have 5 letters of support, including the immediate neighbors on either side, a support petition, and we have clearances from Transportation Services, TRCA, and Ravenna Natural Features Protection.
Mr. Chair, I'll take this opportunity to let you know there were a number of area residents that signed up to speak, and a number of them were on the call earlier, but it does appear that everyone that, actually the last 2 that were on your list were present but are no longer present. And also, so the only area resident is present is the person by the name of Adjus Baladish. They're the only area resident present at this time, along with the agent. So number 2 on the list is present.
So sorry, Ojas Bandlish is available?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, before we do that, We'll call on the agent, Raman Sandhu. Mr. Sandhu, are you available to speak to us?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'm available.
Okay, similar to the last one, this is pretty straightforward. It's very easy to understand what's proposed here. Would you be okay if we dispensed with a presentation from you and just moved to questions, if any, from our panel? Or do you,
Yes.
wish to say anything?
No, it's a pretty straightforward application. If you guys, if everyone wants to ask just questions, I'm happy to answer all of your questions.
Okay, then that's what we'll do then. So questions from the panel, anyone? Yes, Ms. Alderson, comment?
Just another comment, very similar to the last application. You know, you're coming before us to legalize and to maintain the existing attached garage. It's not evident in Street View what that looks like, and there are no photographic images included in the application, but there are photographs of the driveway looking out to the street from the garage, but not actually of the structure itself. So just a comment, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alderson. Any other comments? Okay, is there anyone in the audience or the room today to speak to 50 Beaumont Heights Drive? No? Okay. Okay, then let's go into committee for discussion.
Oh, Mr. Chair, don't forget there is one area.
Oh, yes,
resident.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And actually, I do, since I said there only was one, a second has shown up, so I'll go ahead and.
So that's Ojas Bandlish.
Ojas Bandlish is
Okay.
present, yes. So I'll go on ahead and unmute them now.
Good morning. I'm Ojas Bandlish, and I live at the 52 Beaumont Heights Drive, which is the immediate neighbor where the garage is. So the garage touches towards my house, and I do not have any issues with the garage at all.
Very neighborly of you. Thank you. So we have no one else to.
Mr. Chair, there is one more area resident. Wahid Khan is also available to speak.
Okay.
Wahid, go ahead.
Yes, I live on the west side of this 50 Beaumont Heights Drive, and I have got no objection in approving this variation.
Very neighborly of you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Adam, anyone else?
That is it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, then we'll go into committee for comments, discussion, or a decision.
If no one has any comments or questions, I'm prepared to make a motion. Seeing that both the neighbors on either side are in support of the legalization and maintaining the existing attached garage, I'm happy to make a motion to approve. Also, the councillor is in support too as well. Was that mentioned earlier? Okay. So yes, so because of that, all those reasons, I am prepared to make a motion for approval. I believe it meets the 4 tests.
Thank you. Seconder for Ms. Alderson's motion, Mr. Dalton? Okay, that's been seconded. All in favor? That is unanimously approved. Thank you very much, Mr. Sandhu. Okay, item number 10 was deferred. Moving to item number 11, 307 Delta Street. We have Agent Sam Farouk. We have no registered speakers. Is there anyone in the audience here to speak about 307 Delta Street? Can I just take a second, seeing there are only 5 of you? Can you tell me what applications you are here to speak about? Sorry, can you just tell me the item
Mr.
numbers?
Chair, item number 14 and item number 15.
14 and 15. Okay.
Correct.
Coming up.
So, I'm not going to ask my question for a long time.
You're probably having a wonderful time.
Oh, I'm sure they're thrilled. Okay. We have a revised notice Purpose of the application is to construct a two-story south side addition, which will contain an attached garage, a two-story rear addition, a second-story addition above the existing dwelling, a new rear deck, and a new front porch. We have two variances. We have Urban Forestry requesting refusal based on variance 1, which is floor space index. And we have a clearance memo from Transportation Services. Mr. Farouk, are you available? Sam Farouk?
Mr. Chair, they are present. I am trying to unmute them, but I cannot. I think we did do a good mic check with them earlier today. We did. So, Mr. Chair, maybe we'll stand this item down for a second while we try and get Sam to properly connect again. Sam,
Okay.
if you can hear me, please log out and log back in and authorize the use of your microphone. Thank you.
Okay, we'll stand that one down temporarily and
Perfect,
move
thank
to
you.
item 12.
Oh, Mr. Chair, let's try it. Sam, can you say something?
Good morning.
perfect.
Sorry, it was cut off for a minute there, but I think we're back on.
We're good. We're good, Mr. Chair. If you'd like to stick on number 11 then, Sam's good.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Farouk. A pretty straightforward application, two variances, pretty easy to understand what's being attempted here. Is there anything you wish to speak to us before we make a decision on this? Or would you be content with answering any questions that the panel might have?
I'm okay to move forward to the questions.
Okay.
If that's okay with everybody.
Panel, any questions for Mr. Farouk? No? I'm not going to speak. I'm not speaking to the people in the room. Okay, then, I guess we're in a position to go into committee for a decision. Or discussion. We have the naughty urban forestry refusal.
Yeah, there are 5 there, right?
Of variance 1.
5.
Yeah.
And alternatively, oh yes, just condition 1, city-owned tree. So with that backdrop, are we ready for a decision?
Sure.
Ms. Alderson?
Sure, I can do that. I'm looking at Street View, and it's dated May 2019, so I'm assuming that the boulevard tree, the city-owned tree, is a lot bigger now. So that's why they're asking for it to be protected. Subject to urban forestry condition number 1. I move for approval. I believe this application meets the 4 tests, and yeah.
Is there a seconder for Ms. Alderson's motion?
I'll second that.
Mr. Ross, thank you very much. All in favor? That is approved unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Farouk.
I'm sorry, approved with condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to item 12. '82 Pritchard Avenue. Purpose of the application is to construct a new detached dwelling. In the revised notice, there are 3 variances, one of which, number 1, has been revised. 2 and 3 are the same as original, and variance 4 has been removed. Mr. Shpati?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Shpati, thank you.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
I believe Once again, this is pretty straightforward, easy to understand request. I don't think we would benefit from a presentation unless there's any point or two you wish to make. Otherwise, we could just proceed to questions from the panel. Would you be okay with that?
I just want to say something that
Sure,
actually
sure,
in
absolutely.
the revised drawings after we talking to the planning department, there are only two items. One is at the side and the other one is side yard setbacks. So there are only two. You can see the waiver and the revised drawing. There are not four anymore.
Well, there are three variances.
Yes.
You're grouping the side yard setbacks into one, but for our purposes, it's two, because one affects the east side lot line and the other affects the west side lot line. But they're identical.
Okay, yes.
The extent of the variance
Yes,
you're requesting is identical on both sides, yeah. And then the floor space index. Yeah, we understand.
Yes, yes. Yes, I understand. I'm sorry for that.
Okay. Panel, any questions for Mr. Shpati? Comments? Ms. Alderson?
I'm just assuming you're okay with urban forestry condition number 1? Hello? Are you there?
Yes, 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 yes.
You're aware of urban
There are
forestry
two
condition
feet.
number 1 and you're okay with that?
Yes, I'm very okay with that.
Okay. So if no one has any questions or comments or concerns, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I believe this application meets the 4 tests under the Planning Act and move for approval subject to urban forestry condition number 1.
Is there a seconder for Ms. Alderson's, Mr. Dalton? Okay, that's seconded by Mr. Dalton. All in favor? That is approved unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Shpati.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, moving to item number 13, 9 Old Oak Road. The agent is Antonella Wild.
Good morning, members of Mr. Chair, members of the committee.
Good morning.
I am Antonella.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm just going to give a brief intro here before you speak to us. The purpose is to construct a new detached dwelling with an attached garage. There are 3 variances. We have urban forestry conditions 2 and 3, a Metrolinx advisory. Community planning is okay with the application. And we have a 3-signature support petition and 1 letter of opposition. And we have no registered speakers. So, Ms. Wild, once again, pretty straightforward, I believe. Do you wish to point anything else out to us, or are you content to proceed with any questions that the panel may have of you?
Yes, I just want to point out, my presentation was to itemize the revised agenda I see now on the screen, so that's not necessary. The only thing to comment is they did speak to the neighbors at 11 Old Oak, which were also supportive. It's not included in the petition, but that
Okay.
is just wanted to be noted. I'm happy to answer questions.
Okay. Panel, questions for Ms. Wild? None then? I guess we can proceed to committee then for a decision. Can I have a motion?
Sure. Please make a motion.
Sure, Mr. Ross.
To approve the application subject to forestry conditions 2 and 3.
Seconder for Mr. Ross's motion. Mr. Dalton, thank you very much. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Wild.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 14. 14 King Street Crescent. The purpose of the application is to construct a new detached dwelling with a carport. There are 10 variances. We have a ravine and natural features protection condition 1. We have a community planning department condition. We have TRCA conditions, which are their conditions. Even if we approve this application, we will not impose TRCA conditions. We have an okay from transportation, and we have a heritage planning condition, and 3 letters of support. Gloria Apostolou, are you with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you please
I'm
proceed with a brief presentation on your proposal here?
Of course. My name is Gloria Apostolou, and I'm the architect and agent for 14 King Street Crescent. We are proposing to demolish the rear additions that exist, as you explained in the introduction, and to build a new carport at the side. We wanted to clarify that zoning has classified the proposed scope of work as a new house under renovation clause because 50% of the existing walls will be altered. And in our case, this is a technicality in the classification because we are not in fact proposing to demolish the entire house and build new, but we are just reconstructing the rear additions. We have been in several consultations with TRCA, and we've been referencing the Heritage Conservation Plan for this area and geotech engineers' recommendations for slope stability. We are aware that the proposal is incurring 10 variances, and I'd like to explain them. They are mostly due to the unique nature of this site and its relation to the ravine. Variance number 1 is for a density of 1.0 instead of 0.6. This calculation includes only the portion of the property that is above the ravine protection line and not the full property boundary. It is a reduction of about 50% of the lot. In our case, it has increased the ratio of floor area from 0.47 to 1.0. So our FSI would be 0.47 if we were to look at it in relation to the entire property. Variance number 2 is for a side yard setback of 0.2 meters. This variance is required to provide a legal parking pad in the same location or the same offset from the north property line as the existing garage. We are proposing to construct the new carport on the stable portion of the slope and therefore tear down the garage that is currently there at the same setback. Variance number 3 is for roof eve encroachment at the carport. Again, we can't avoid this encroachment of the roof just because our side yard setback is what it is, less than the 1.2 meters. This is an improvement, however, to the existing eve condition of the garage, which currently overhangs or encroaches onto the neighbor's property by 0.12 meters. So our new carport will not have an overhang of the same magnitude and will be fully on our side. Variances 4, 5, and 6 are in regards to the proposed addition being built on the lot that is below the top of Stable Bank. We have been working closely with TRCA on the location and the extent of the proposed addition, and they have expressed support for these variances. They said that the reasoning being that we are proposing the same habitable floor area on this portion of the lot as already exists on the site. We are proposing construction with helical piles and a soil retention program, which is more sensitive to the site, and we are improving the site stability through the proposed construction, the location of the additions, and the retaining walls that we're proposing in the ravine. They are biodegradable retaining walls called coir logs. They stabilize the soil, and then they made of coconut shell, so they would disappear, they would biodegrade over time and leave it with a natural slope. Variance number 7 is for the maximum walkway width at the front of the yard. This is an existing condition. However, we have, because we were not planning to renovate or do any work to alter the heritage landscaping at the front. However, transportation has asked that we reduce the walkway width, and there's a new site plan submitted December 1st, which reflects this reduction. Variance number 8 is for the maximum permitted platform, which is from the second story of the proposed roof garden. This is to allow for some planting, growing of herbs, greenhouse type space for the homeowners. We will be screening the balcony to maximize privacy for the neighbor to the north. I understand that this was a concern when our neighbors approached number 12 King Street, that they did want privacy, and we're happy to comply with that. Variance number 9 is referencing the proposed deck height from existing grade. Our proposed deck is identical in area to the deck that currently exists. It is above grade due to the slope that is naturally occurring on this site. And this deck, its location, size, configuration was supported by TRCA during our consultations with them. But due to the slope on this site, it doesn't comply with the zoning requirements. And then by variance number 10 is for the front yard landscaping requirement of 75%. We are proposing 71%. And this is due to the fact that we're trying to maintain the
If
existing
you could
heritage.
wrap up, your time is up.
Thank you. Yes, this is our last one, and it's just regarding the existing heritage landscape at the front that we'd like to maintain.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Apostolo, we do have one or more speakers in the room today on this application. Before I invite them up to the microphone panel, do any of you have any questions for Ms. Popovic? Yes, go ahead.
Hello, thank you. I wanted to just confirm for the record, and if you would confirm that, please, madam, that the reduced existing walkway width is being reduced from 4.06 meters to 1.06 meters.
Let me just check on the site plan.
I'm looking at this December 1st update.
Yes, that is correct. That is the one that we are referencing. Yep,
thank you. Thank you. And secondly, would you confirm that you are aware of and your client is content or will abide by the forestry condition number 1, I believe?
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, did you ask about the planning condition as well? If you didn't, I will.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, are you aware of and okay with the community planning condition?
We are, absolutely.
Are you aware of and okay with the heritage planning condition?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now I'm going to invite the speaker or speakers that we have in the room here today to approach the microphone and speak. And Ms. Apostolo, if you can prepare yourself for rebuttal remarks afterwards. Ma'am, could you identify yourself and your address?
My name's Leanne Cook. I'm a resident at 12 King Street Crescent, direct neighbors to the proposed site. Just want to state that overall we're quite happy with the proposed plans as neighbors. We had a nice meeting with our neighbors. I just have a couple of questions, I guess, to the architect of some concerns that we have. Our house does abut the property line quite closely. And the previous neighbors, they had built a garage. I don't know if they had proper zoning approvals, but so it's right on the property line. So the new plans are removing that garage, and which is nice. But the old neighbors had put a deck on top of that roof, and it we were very concerned about the infringement on our privacy because that balcony looked down onto our deck, and you were also able to see into our upstairs bedroom window. So it was a concern, but that deck was removed by these neighbors as soon as they moved in. So my question is, with the new balcony that's proposed, I'm just not sure what the sight lines are. And I did hear, thank you very much for you mentioning that you're going to screen in that balcony to give us a bit of privacy. So that really alleviates some of our concerns. My other concern is with the carport. It's along the side of the house, and our kitchen window faces towards the house at 14 King Crescent. And I'm just not sure whether the carport wall will affect the light coming into our kitchen window. So I'm not sure, I can't tell from the drawings if there's going to be a problem with that. And my other question, I think you've already spoken about, is drainage from the carport, how that would affect, being right on the property line, how that would affect our property. So we are, concerned about our property value and privacy issues, that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other speakers here with regard to this property? No? Okay, then, Ms. Apostolou, could you please come up and address the remarks and questions that have been made by the neighbor at number 12?
Yes, definitely. The proposed, the first one was for privacy from the roof garden, and we are definitely interested in screening it for our for our personal privacy, their client's privacy from the neighbors as well. And the intention is just to have a place to grow things outdoor because the site doesn't, it drops steeply, so there isn't much room for planting herbs, things like that. We are not, we are much further away from your house and the property line than the existing garage was at this point. So the rooftop deck is 5 feet further away from where the garage edge was. So there is more of an offset. There's skeletal framing. It's not a solid construction at all. And the intention is to have privacy for both 14 King Street and then 12 King Street. The second concern was the kitchen window that faces the carport. Will it block light? I believe the light in between the two houses is not it is not going to be where the main sunlight or the views are. So there is an existing garage. We will be, like I said, not a solid construction. We are proposing to have it more of a trellis type cladding. It's a carport rather than a garage, so it's not heated or insulated. We'd like to keep it as open looking as possible. So that is a consideration that we're keeping in mind with the design. Drainage from our site will not drain onto your property. It's not allowed to do that under zoning or building code requirements. It'll be contained fully within our site, and there is a landscape architect involved, and drainage is very critical, as you know, on this property, not to cause any unnecessary erosion towards the ravine as well. So drainage will be looked at and will be contained on our property.
And sorry, can you clarify, is variance 7 staying the same? The width of the walkway?
The width of the walkway has been reduced. That's the 1 point. That was the variance. Yeah.
So you're eliminating that variance altogether?
Yeah. To the setback requirement, correct.
It's not a setback
per
variance.
transportation's request. I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
It's the width of the walkway. It's not a setback variance.
Correct. So number 7, we are reducing the width of the walkway
To comply with
as
the
was
zoning,
requested by Jen.
to comply with the zoning bylaw?
We are, yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes, correct. Yeah.
So I'm just pulling this up for a second here.
Yeah.
So that means we're deleting variance 7.
Yes,
Yes, okay.
yes, you're
So
right.
it's
This wasn't updated since the December 1st submission.
Okay, so it's now 9 variances, 1 to 6 and 8 to 10.
Correct.
Okay, let's go into committee then for comments, discussion. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Could a representative for your group come up and speak to?
Well, no, they already
Unless you're
spoke.
different. Pardon?
She already spoke.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
and the 3 people behind you, you're
They're
here,
for item 15.
item 15. Oh, we're not on 15. I'm on
That's why they
15.
haven't spoken yet.
Okay, gotcha. We're good. Okay. Item 14. We're in committee for comments, discussion, or a decision.
I just want to comment that the city has paid a lot of attention to this application, and it's lovely to see because it's a very special street, as you ladies know. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Okay. Anything else from anyone? Is ready for a motion then? Mr. Dalton?
Sure. I'd like to move a motion to approve variances, the 9 variances now, subject to conditions from planning, forestry, and heritage, as it does meet the 4 tests.
Yeah, I guess technically it's not forestry, it's ravine and natural
Ravine, sorry.
features. Yeah,
I am corrected.
okay. Is there a seconder for Mr. Dalton's motion? Ms. Alderson? All in favor? That is unanimously approved. Thank you very much, Ms. Apostolou. Now we'll proceed to item 15. Which is 4014 Bloor Street West. The purpose of the application is to construct a 2nd-story side addition, a 1-story rear addition, a new front porch, and a new rear yard deck. And there are 6 variances. And do we have Agent Yura Kim available?
Hi there.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. Yeah, please tell us about your proposal.
Okay, so I'm not an agent, first of all. I'm Yura Kim. I'm the daughter of my mom, Suksan Kim, and Uya Kim. Just,
Okay.
I'm here to
I see. I'm sorry.
represent them. That's
didn't
okay.
notice that.
That's okay. So, how are you guys doing, committee members? So
Be
far, so
better.
good.
Could be
Okay.
better.
Okay. So we are a family of 4, 2 grown-up adults and lovely Asian parents here. We immigrated to the city of Toronto in 1989 and live in this area for many years. We initially had started with an idea of a detached garage. And so I guess right after COVID, we had applied for it. However, we couldn't get a surveyor, and so that got expired, and I think that was just canceled out. And so we were thinking, okay, so if detached garage is not working, why don't we go with the garage suite? Sorry, garden suite. And so, so we looked into that. I emailed the counselor Stephen Holiday, and then he said, yeah, you could actually make a garden suite there too. But then the price was too pricey, and it was just not a good spot for a garden suite. And so the final decision was made to do an extending and enlargement of the existing dwelling house. So this house was built in 1962. I didn't know that I had to, well, it doesn't matter, okay. So the house was built in 1962 by Patrick. I don't know his last name, but so it is an old house, and there was a little bit of leakage coming up the roof and stuff like that. So we're thinking, okay, we got to do something with this house. So the 6 variances I have here. So number 1, I can tell you the reason why. So if you look at the A0 drawing page, the length of the house is extended. So the reason why we wanted this extension is we would like to have a double garage instead of a single garage. This is needed when my brother and I are going to move in with my mom and dad, and we're going to live together. The second is the addition to the dwelling depth, which is over the zoning lot. And the reason, again, the plan is to have 2 bedrooms in the rear of the house. One is a master bedroom, and another one is a second bedroom. The master bedroom, my parents are going to live there, and we'll have an ensuite so that my parents, who are in their 70s, can have a comfortable access to the washroom. Another reason is to have 2 separate bedrooms in this master bedroom so that they can live more conveniently, so for their conveniences. To create a 2 large bedroom on the ground floor, best possible way is to have to have the house extended to the rear so that we can create 2 large bedrooms to be closer to the kitchen and be side by side to take care of my parents as they age. We would like to enlarge the kitchen. Kitchen's pretty small right now. It's very small, it's kind of crowded. So to enlarge the kitchen and to have a little bit more living space for our families and friends who live in Ontario and Toronto. The third variance, which is to add a flat roof height of 1 meter from the zoning law, bylaw. The reason is because we are extending the garage from the driveway, and the driveway is the ground level. Okay, you see, the driveway is the ground level. It is very difficult to lower the height of the garage since we would like to work with the existing main floor level. The existing main floor level is not flushed with the ground level. So on the drawing, it adds another meter, 1 meter. This main floor level is not the same as ground level, like I said, of the garage. This is why the added height is on the drawing, and aesthetically, the house will look weird if we brought the height down. In other words, we understand that the garage ceiling is pretty high, which is about 13 feet high. However, it would be very impossible to bring the main floor level down almost 4 feet, for the existing house already is about 4 feet above the ground level. For the fourth variance, which is the front yard landscaping short of 10%, 10.28%, the reason, as you guys can expect, that is because of the enlargement of the house and also to enlarge the driveway space. And so also another reason is to less landscape maintenance for my parents who are aging, and it's kind of hard to maintain that as well. My brother and I could do it too, but we're just, we're also working and all that stuff. So kind of busy to maintain the landscape. The fifth variance, which is again, soft landing is short of 3.96%. The reason is, again, less landscape maintenance for the family. That's my mom's wish. As she's getting older, she's saying that it's hard to take care of the grass. My dad is saying that he's 75. So enlargement of the house space, and also to enlarge the driveway space for family and friends, that will that's the reason why it's short of 3.96%, soft landscaping space. And the last is the sixth variance, adding the width of the driveway to 2.42 meters. So obviously to widening the driveway. We like to widen the driveway so that more cars can be parked in our driveway. Simple reason as that. And spaces that we have now can only park 3 to 4, and it would be more better if friends and families can park in our driveway and not on the side road As you know, 4014 Bloor Street is a busy street, not on the busy Bloor Street West, which can cause obstructions to the traffic flow. So that's our reason. Thank you. Oh, of course.
Okay, we'll see if the panel have any questions. I got a couple to kick things off. Are you aware of the urban forestry condition 2 regarding a private tree?
Mm-hmm.
You're aware of that? Yeah. Are you aware of the transportation condition?
Yes.
Actually, 5 of them. 5. Yeah. Are you aware of those conditions? They affect your variance 6 regarding the driveway.
Oh, is it? No,
Site
I'm not.
Site plan be revised to designate the 1.52 meter east width of the driveway within private property as a walkway. That's 1. The site plan must be revised to illustrate the portion of the driveway between the front lot line and the curb along Bloor Street West. Third condition, the width of the driveway between the front lot line and the Bloor Street West curb must not exceed 5.8 meters in width or the existing driveway width, whichever is greater. Number 4, the site plan must be revised to indicate the following notation. The driveway shall be designed and constructed to the applicable City of Toronto design standards. And finally, number 5, the foregoing shall be undertaken to the satisfaction of the Transportation Services Division.
This is my first time looking at it, so I'm not aware of it. But
okay. I just like reading.
Thank you.
As a note for the...
I should look at it. I'm not aware of it.
As a note,
So you're not aware
the
of
file is available for download from the Application Information Center.
Okay. Thank you.
But I guess the key question is, are you comfortable with those conditions? Because if we approve it and approve it subject to those conditions, that would make part of the approval.
I would, it's going to take me some time to look at it. I'm not sure because I don't
Take your time.
I don't even know what it is. Okay, so
We could stand that down while we do it.
Okay, let's do that.
Insignificant.
No, they're not. Yeah, Ms. Kim, I'm sorry, we'll give you, I'm not going to interrupt you anymore, but we'll give you some time. We're going to move on and hear another application.
Sure.
And then we'll come back and try and wrap this up one way or another, okay?
We only have one more application before lunch, because if we move on to the next one, it disappears from the screen, so then she won't be able to read it. I don't know if she has access to that though right now.
sure. Okay. Right. Okay.
Okay.
I just want to make one comment. That's a really good presentation in terms of the explanation of why you're asking for these variances.
Mm-hmm.
Most architects get that.
Thank you so much.
You're very good.
Thank you.
So we won't forget you, Ms. Kim. So we'll move ahead to item number 16, which has been pointed out as the last item for this morning's agenda. This is 62 Prince George Drive. The purpose of the application is to construct a one-story front addition and a new covered front porch. There are 3 variances. There's an urban forestry condition number 1 that has been requested. We have no registered speakers. The applicant is Sava Milkovic.
Good afternoon. I'm here, yes.
Hi, okay.
Nice to see you all.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, easy to understand. Is there anything you wish to say by way of highlight, or could we proceed to questions, if any, from the panel?
Just to maybe follow up on Mr. Ross's comment there and say the intention is to just enlarge the living space of the bungalow, give a little bit of a front porch where they can hang out and kind of take in the beautiful front yard, and just generally improve the look of the house, a bit of exterior alterations on the front elevation.
Okay, thank you. Panel, any questions or comments? None?
If no one has any, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Please do.
Okay, so this is a very straightforward application, one of the most straightforward we've had this morning. So I move for approval, subject to urban forestry condition number 1.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Mr. Dalton, thank you. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Etobicoke. Okay. Yeah, Ms. Kim, please come up and tell us what you think.
Okay, I guess we can comply to whatever you guys are asking, that's fine. No problem.
Okay. So you understand the implications of what they're requiring?
Yes.
You're okay with it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of important.
Yes,
Yeah.
very important.
All righty.
Thank you.
Then I think we're ready to go into committee for comments or a decision. Ms. Popovic. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Applicant. As agent for your parents, based on your agreement that you can comply, your parents can comply with all of the conditions, and based on the 4 tests, I move to approve subject to the conditions that were listed.
Is there a seconder for Ms. Popovic?
Does
Mr.
that
Dalton?
include forestry or no?
Yes, please, all the.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's including the transportation commissions? Conditions, okay. So we should be precise there.
Okay, good. All in favor? That is unanimous. Enjoy your new home.
Thank you.
You didn't want to rebut your daughter in any way or contradict her? You're okay? All right, that's good.
Your daughter was
Who gets the
great. Your
bigger
daughter was
sunroom?
great, by the way.
Yeah.
She was
Good
great.
job, good job.
Very good job.
Okay, so we'll now take a lunch break and come back at 1 p.m. Right on time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Enjoy your lunch.
You too.
Are we doing the red cardinal is the question?
Sure.